A fire burns down an area barn just after 10:30 this morning. U.S. Attorney Joseph Hogsett provides an update on the Ryan Beeler case. And in sports, Kurt Gusell joins us to talk about two IU basketball players selected to first team All Big Ten. Those stories and much more are coming up next on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In the news, fire destroyed a livestock barn and its contents on a farm just west of Jasper late this morning. The Jasper Fire Department was called to the farm, owned by Mike and Vicki Summerlot at 3800 West County Road 100 South, just after 10:30. Once firefighters arrived, they found the structure fully engulfed in flames. The barn contained about 24 animals, primarily goats and rabbits, most of which were for show. Some of the animals were able to escape the barn, however, most were lost. Jasper Fire Chief Kenny Hooksang said what started the blaze is not known at this time. However, the fire remains under investigation.
This time we're still going to be investigating it, but they did have a couple heat lamps in the barn. Other than that, there was nothing in there that they're aware of that could have started it, so we'll look into that a little bit. Other than that, they did lose some farm animals, about 24 goats and rabbits. It was already completely involved when the call went out, so it's a fully engulfed barn fire, so not much we could do other than protect the surrounding areas.
Now, firefighters' efforts were hampered somewhat. Upon its arrival, the right rear tire of the first engine on the scene became stuck in a ditch on a tight turn at the end of the lane leading up to the farm. The truck was unable to move from that point, blocking any other vehicles from reaching the fire. Firemen were still able to run about a 400-foot water line from the truck in order to knock out the fire. Damage, if any, to the truck is believed to be minimal. Hooksang says the truck incident did not make a difference in firefighters' efforts to save the barn. Hooksang estimated about $20,000 to $30,000 damage in losses to the building and its contents. About 25 to 30 firefighters remained on the scene for more than an hour after the fire was under control to spray down bales of hay and straw. The United States Attorney for Indiana says a man whose last known address was in Ireland has petitioned a federal court to enter a plea of guilty to child exploitation charges that include the possession and receipt of child pornography. 33-year-old Ryan Beeler, a former senior district executive with the Boy Scouts' Evansville-based Buffalo Trade Council, is accused of receiving and possessing sexually explicit materials depicting minor children. A 2-count criminal complaint was filed November 8th in U.S. District Court in Evansville. U.S. Attorney Joseph Hogsett says the swift movement in this case was a credit to two factors, one of them being the work of law enforcement.
It was an enormous investigative effort by law enforcement. I have to give credit where credit's due. Our federal partners, our local partners have been extraordinary in their investigation of Mr. Beeler's activities.
The Department of Justice says Beeler was the lone Hoosier State customer of a foreign movie production company selling DVD movies and photographs allegedly depicting sexually explicit conduct by children. A 2-year investigation between the U.S. Postal Inspection Service and foreign law enforcement officers identified Beeler as a customer. A search warrant was executed at Beeler's home on November 8th. Beeler was taken into custody then and began to cooperate with authorities. If Beeler's petition to plead guilty is accepted by the court, the defendant will admit to 1 count of possessing sexually explicit material involving minors and 4 counts of receiving sexually explicit material involving minors. The Department of Justice says the agreement to plead guilty also stipulates that the government may request restitution for child victims identified by investigators, and the defendant will agree to forfeit all electronic equipment associated with his child pornography collection. Also, the U.S. Attorney's Office has reserved the right to pursue additional criminal charges if new allegations come to light. Hogsett also says that bringing Beeler to justice should be reassuring to any parents worried about child predators.
The case from the charge, the actual beginning of the case, to its culmination, his sentencing to federal prison, has taken a very short period of time, which again should reassure parents and Hoosier children that their interests are being looked after very well.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Todd Schellenbarger, who is prosecuting the case for the government, says the agreement to plead guilty provides the court with a guideline sentence range of roughly 8 to 10 years in federal prison. The final determination of sentence length will be up to the judge in this case. Beeler also faces lifetime registration as a sexual predator and federally supervised release. Memorial Hospital and Healthcare Center has announced the names of the top 6 physicians nominated for the first annual Little Company of Mary Outstanding Physician Award. Dr. Dean Beckman, Dr. Scott Beckman, Bernard Kemker Jr., Dr. Sohail Kadir, and Dr. Theodore Waffler were selected from a group of 18 physicians nominated for the award, which is named in honor of the Sisters of Little Company of Mary, which sponsors the Memorial Hospital and Health Center. Dr. Dean Beckman, Dr. Scott Beckman, Dr. Bergeson, and Dr. Kimler all received their medical degree at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis, while Dr. Kadir received his medical degree at King Edward Medical College, University of Punjab in Pakistan, and Dr. Waffler received his medical degree at the University of Louisville. The award is given based on job performance and reflecting Memorial Hospital's core values. Nominees had to be classified as a member of the hospital's active medical staff for at least 1 year and be in good standing. The award will be presented during Memorial Hospital's Medical Staff Appreciation Banquet coming up in April. Citizens of Jasper will soon be able to give their input about the plans for the riverfront and the downtown area. A meeting to get public input about the Jasper Downtown Master Plan has been scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the former Hoosier Desk Building at 3rd Avenue and Mill Street. Local restaurants will provide free food for attendees to sample starting at 5:30 p.m. For more information about the meeting, contact Jasper Community Development and Planning Director Darla Blasey at 482-4255. 4 safety courses will be offered later this month in Jasper, including the mainstay course for the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The Hazard Communication Global Harmonized Systems class is scheduled for March 18th, followed by the OSHA-authored 10-hour safety course on March 19th and 20th. The other 2 classes offered are the Electrical Safety-Related Practices class on March 21st and the Powered Industrial Truck class on March 22nd. These classes will take place at the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 673 in Jasper. For more information, including fees and the deadline for signing up, you can call Safety Training and Consulting at 634-1188 or send an email to stac@fullnet.com. Purdue University's programs in engineering, education, and business continue to be ranked among the best in the country in U.S. News and World Report's graduate school rankings released today. Not all disciplines are ranked each year. Other Purdue programs were ranked in previous surveys, and their placements carry over to this year's report. Programs ranked this year included engineering, which was ranked 8th, up from 10th last year, education ranked 32nd, up from 37th last year, business ranked 44th overall, and psychology ranked 46th overall. Purdue Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs Timothy Sands says the rankings show Purdue's continued upward trend in graduate studies. In the latest undergraduate rankings by U.S. News and World Report, released in August of last year, Purdue was ranked 23rd among the nation's public universities. The university ranked 11th overall and 8th among public universities in up-and-comers for the most promising and innovative changes in the areas of academics, faculty, and student life, as determined by a survey of college administrators. U.S. News and World Report's complete rankings in America's best graduate schools will be available on newsstands April 9th. U.S. News has published graduate school rankings since 1987. Workers at Southern Indiana's Crane Naval Surface Warfare Center are planning a protest of furloughs and pay freezes stemming from the automatic federal budget cuts. Crane workers will protest Friday on private property near the center's main entrance. They oppose a 3-year pay freeze and pending 22-day work furloughs planned under the cuts. Crane expects $36 million in funding reduction under the cuts. A union represents about 1,500 of the Crane workers. Union Secretary and Treasurer Mary Crow has worked at Crane for 29 years and is leading the protest. She says she has never seen an organized worker protest at Crane prior to now. Crow says Crane employees further the security of the nation and feel slighted by the cuts. Coming up after the break, your local forecast, followed by sports with Kurt Huxell. That's next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.